I've spent the last few days creating a new pantry organization system and organizing my pantry. And let's just say it was a lot of work. Not only do you have to worry about organizing the pantry itself and getting all of that together, but you also have to keep in mind that you actually have to keep that pantry organized and it has to flow with your overall day-to-day life. If you have a small pantry and you've had many small pantries and have tried to organize them, I'm pretty sure you know firsthand that they can go downhill real fast if you're not careful. If your pantry needs a little refresher, facelift, makeover, whatever you want to call it, in today's video I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite small pantry organization tips and small pantry organization products that I use that have made such a difference in the overall flow and function of my pantry that you can use too for your space. So let's get into it. So the first and probably the most important tip that I have for you is to create zones in your pantry. Creating zones in your pantry kind of gives everything a designated home and place so that you know exactly where your items are in your pantry and you don't have to go through your entire pantry just to find one thing. No pantry zones are going to be alike because obviously we all have different eating habits and cooking habits. But here are some of the common zones that most pantries will have. The first zone is the baking zone, and this is where all of your baking supplies will live. Things like flour, sugar, oatmeal, and other baking ingredients should all be placed together to make things easier when it's time to bake. The snack zone, aka the best zone, will contain all of your snacks like your crackers, chips, bars, things like that. Next will be your dinner zone. This zone will hold all of your dinner foods like your pasta, rice, canned goods, and any other boxed goods that you use or cooking ingredients that you use. And lastly, the on-the-go zone is perfect for storing things like your microwavable meals, drinks, and quick breakfast foods that are easy to grab and put in your purse when you're on a run. When setting these zones up in your pantry, you want to make sure that you organize your shelves from bottom to top, from most used to least used. For example, if you don't bake very often, you're going to want to place your baking zone towards the top of your pantry. And if you find yourself always grabbing snacks, these should be placed towards the bottom of the pantry. Okay, so this may sound a little weird, but I physically drew out my pantry before I started organizing it. This is because I really wanted to get a visual feel of what my pantry A looked like, and B, I wanted to basically visually see what I wanted my organization system, process, whatever you want to call it, to look like. So my pantry has 4 or 5 different shelves, I think, and I wrote where I wanted what to go on the pantry shelves and established the zones on the paper first before I even put anything new in the pantry. And then I even mapped out what specific organization products that I wanted to go where on the shelf. Obviously, like, nothing is set in stone, and once you get it in there, you can kind of play with it and figure out what works and what doesn't work. But I found this to be super helpful for me and it kind of gave me a visual expectation of what I was looking for in my pantry. When you draw your pantry out, be sure to keep in mind what problems you're having in the pantry that you have now and incorporate solutions to this in this step. One problem that we had within our pantry is that we weren't able to see our canned goods because they were all just stacked on the shelf, like on one row or stacked on top of each other. We really wanted to be able to physically see the canned goods to know how many we had of what we needed. If you struggle with keeping an organized pantry, labeling everything is going to be the key to success for you. When you label everything, it helps you keep your pantry organized for much longer than just having things unlabeled. And when it comes to labeling, be sure to use broad labels instead of very specific labels so that your pantry organization system is easier to maintain. For example, instead of labeling a container something like chips or cookies, try something broad like snacks. The secret to a clutter-free pantry is to ditch packaging where and when you can. There is nothing that'll make a pantry look more cluttered than excess bulky packaging. Finding ways to eliminate this when possible will literally make all the difference in your pantry. Packaging takes up too much space, and whenever you get rid of it, you can actually see what you have and how much you have of what you have. This obviously doesn't work for everything, especially when you have a small pantry, but things like individualized packaged snacks, fruit cups, bars, basically anything that isn't like freely loose and it comes in individual smaller packages can be taken out of the big package that it comes with. If you are worried about like expiration dates, nutrition information, you can easily cut out the cut out the labels of these things off the box itself and tape it to the bottom or to the back of the bin that you put it in. That way you have all the information right there where it is and you won't have to hunt it down. One place that you may be underutilizing or maybe overutilizing in your pantry is the pantry floor. Pantry floor is the perfect place to organize backstock products that don't fit on your shelves. Things like water bottles, paper plates, paper towels, or other larger things like appliances work perfectly for storing on your pantry floors. Turntables are a small pantry's dream. If you were to buy anything for your pantry, get turntables. Turntables are perfect for organizing things like oils, vinegars, sauces, and spreads, and they work really well because all you have to do is stick them in and you can just turn the turntable whenever you need something and you don't have to like dig around for it. Pro tip, I love using turntables in the corners of my pantry because you can fit so much more in that small space without taking up that much space. I'm sure you guys have all seen those super aesthetic Pinterest pantries with the no packaging and the clear containers, and it's just super satisfying to look at. But let me tell you, it's not the best way to make the most out of your space. You're gonna wanna use large bins like these if you have a small pantry because they're easier to actually keep your pantry organized and it's much more easier to maintain on a everyday or weekly basis whenever you're refilling and stocking your pantry. If you still wanna incorporate that clear container look, I recommend using it for things like flour, oats, pasta, sugar, things that are traditionally like loose and that you aren't grabbing on a everyday basis. This wired under-shelf basket is seriously genius and perfect for storing and organizing like breads, Ziploc bags, foil, plastic wrap, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't take up any space at all in your pantry and all you have to do is slip it underneath your shelf and it's the perfect way to use that extra space you have hanging underneath. I am a taco girl, a chili girl, a seasoning packet girl in general. And I used to store my seasoning packets in like Ziploc bags whenever I would open them and use them so that they didn't spill all over the place. But I found this divided bin that's perfect for storing any packet seasonings that you have, like gravy, chili, anything like that. And it's perfect for separating them and keeping them organized so that they don't fall over your pantry and nothing gets all over the shelves of your pantry. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that these little pantry organization tips and tweaks help you keep your pantry organized from day to day. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.